boom, got your attention. And that's what we're talking about today is attention, how to utilize it, how to curate content around it, and how to leverage it in your business.
And, it's funny because we always make the joke, like, being a kid, they wanted all the attention or doing all that. But in our business, it's not necessarily being the class clown or things like that to get attention. Right. It's how can we get the consumer's attention of the prospects that we're looking to help and serve and be where they're at, where they're going and looking, because the attention and that builds the authority, which builds the trust, right?
Absolutely. I mean, attention is a currency, and where the customer, our audience is paying attention, where they're spending time, social media, events, what trends in the marketplace that they're paying attention to, we need to strategically pop up to where the customer is in terms of where they're spending their attention, what they're paying attention to, right? Otherwise, we're out of sight, out of mind, irrelevant if we're not going to the place where is attracting their attention.
Well, and I think it goes to knowing who your prospect is, right? What's your avatar? Who are you trying to attract? Who is going to be your perfect ideal client? Because your perfect ideal client might not be the client on TikTok. Or if you're you're working with 60-year-olds going into senior care facilities and communities and helping them, your clientele probably isn't on Instagram. They're probably on Facebook. That's usually I think of somebody like my mom who we're taking care of her aging parents. My mom's not super active on Instagram, but she's super active on Facebook. That's where she spends a lot of her time. So who does she connect with more is the people that are on Facebook. So it's about really identifying who your avatar is, who you're going to want to outreach to, and then how can we find what platforms they're on, where are they spending their time. YouTube is pretty much like a general index now for any kind of search engine. Right. So if you're spending time on YouTube, people still use Google. I mean, I chat everything now, but people do still use Google. The people that aren't all full on AI, people in their 50s, 40, up there.
The most trafficked website has to be in the world. Yeah.
So still doing YouTube videos translates to Google to website. So it's we just have to really craft who we're trying to go after and what our message is and put it where our avatar is.
It's a little bit of a shift, right? Because, it's counterintuitive to get out of self. I mean, we all wake up hungry, horny, lonely, tired, thinking about me in the morning. It's the me show. So we got to get out of ego, out of self, and tap into our avatar, our audience, and what are the concerns, what are the fears, what are the hopes, what are the dreams. I think of a farmer's market or a cool concert in the park or some activity that naturally draws attention. So sponsoring, being around, promoting that type of stuff, naturally you're kind of tapping into something that's trending already. It's like having a backlink on your website to a link that goes viral and having that exist on your website. So if you're around the things that are trending, but what else is obviously the interest rates are something of concern in our industry. So
I think of and putting it in buckets too, kind of switching topic real quick, going social media, that being one bucket. So where are they spending time? Are they on Instagram? Are they on TikTok? Are they on Facebook? Are they on LinkedIn? I think of business people. If we're trying to go after more leveraged accounts with business people, we want to be showing up on LinkedIn all the time. They're not on TikTok. If they're an attorney, they're not really on TikTok probably. They're more on LinkedIn for business matters. So identifying that as being one bucket, and then like you said, events, doing being at sponsoring the concerts in the park event or sponsoring the movie night in your farm. So really going deeper with your farm because that's where your people are. Exactly. So how, sponsoring the Little League games or getting buckets with your, for ball buckets with your branding on it, things like that where you're at an event. And then so how do we craft our message to those people without being the salesy D-bag, to our parents that are on the Little League game? Right. How do we craft that? So like you said, how do we get out of self when we can help provide more for the community? And then getting our attention that way really builds that trust there.
I mean, so it's about who is my avatar, who's my audience, where is their attention being spent, how do I get in that place where their natural attention is being drawn. So I think of you bring up the baby boomers and moving into senior care facilities and communities and things like that. Those are largely event driven because a lot of that stuff takes place in person, but there's Facebook groups and such. I think of if you have a starter condo or something hitting the market, if you're selling real estate, And you might want to be like throw a community happy hour or be where younger people are, or you do go to young professional networking groups to promote that property because it's likely going to be somebody 30 and under that's buying that condo, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
So where do they spend their attention? So who am I after and where's their attention being spent? How can I be there? And then how can I stay there? How do I get staying power? How do I continue to nurture those relationships and stay top of mind?
So that involves systems, right? And having some kind of campaigns and some kind of drip cadence. But, going back to the top of mind awareness, that's where it gets really big on the videos, on the social media, because it's great to connect here and we really drive with our people one-on-one. Yeah. But then, a week or 2 weeks go by and we want to make sure we're still top of mind with them. And so that's why we do so much video and place it on various platforms because our realtor partners are on all platforms. So we put our videos on all platforms to stay top of mind. And how many times do we go to an event and we hear, I just saw your video, or I just saw you guys, and we're like quite a bit, like we just heard it last night, So it's one of those things. It's like, well, it's working. Yeah, we are very.
The plan is working.
We are very top of mind.
Well, like we target mortgage brokers, commercial brokers, real estate agents, realtors, right? So where do realtors spend time? At happy hours, at lunch and learns, at caravans, at classes, and on social media. So where do we post our content and make ourselves ever present? At those places. Same things, right? So where are your customers? Whether you sell yachts or houses or loans, you identify what's the habit of my customer, where are they paying their attention? And look, everybody's on Zillow. Oh, yeah. That's why for a realtor, I think that snapshotting, the Tom Ferry put out the snapshot, the Zestimate of your past client's home and text it to them. Don't send them the link, but get the info because everybody's familiar of Redfin and Zillow. Everybody's there and they got something like 30 million visits.
I look on it every day. Every day I'm on it.
So lean into that and leverage their attention, massive amounts of attention, use their data that transfers and it's completely credible going to the consumer because they're such a big name, and then text it to them and says, Zillow says your home's worth 1.6. I think it's closer to 1.7. What do you think, right? You're leveraging their notoriety. You're leveraging their attention for your gain. So where else can I make that present in my business? And it's something really cool to consider because it forces you to get out of yourself. What are the actual things that my clients are thinking of? And then do content consistently. Yeah. Once you've identified, everybody's on Instagram, everybody's on Facebook and LinkedIn. How can I consistently deliver content that addresses their attention and their cares and concerns, fears, hopes, dreams, and wonders, right? Educates, inspirates, motivates. Put that stuff on those platforms we identify that they're paying attention to, and you have a higher likelihood of being seen, something that hits them right between the eyes and says, man, this guy has all the answers on this stuff. And all you're doing is consistently putting content out there. It's a really good strategy.
Well, and that's the hard part, though, right? Is the consistency of it. It's like
the C word.
The C word, yes, the consistency word. I was like, all right, yes, we know we need to be posting. We know we need to be doing this. So what's one tool for us, Ryan, that's really helped us? He actually got on me this week. He was like, hey, slacking on stories, bud. I was like, I know, don't shoot, I know. But what is one thing that's really helped us, or I would say Ryan runs a lot of our Facebook stuff. What's one thing that's really helped you do accurate posting consistently?
Well, stories, you're in 2 to 5 stories a day, just on what you see, something that inspires me, something we're a part of at an event, something we encounter that is baffling or is surprising or inspiring. Put it on your story. People are following your stories. People, they're following you and they'll never tell you they're following you until they need to transact and need a title, need to sell their house, and then they call you out of the blue and say, oh, I watch you all the time. Yeah. We hear that from multiple of our agents.
We get hit up all the time from people that, like, random people I went to high school with that are like, hey, I'm looking to buy. Can you help me with that? And I'm like, I'm actually not a realtor, but I love that you think I am. Right? But I can definitely put you in the right position of who you can talk to. And so it's funny, just based off the videos we do, we get people hitting us up because they think that we buy and sell real estate.
Well, but we time block it, because then there's the feed, right? There's the stories that's easier, low, obstacle, low barrier for content. If it moves you, if you wonder about it, if it's cool and you think it's cool, put it on your story. The feed, I feel, is a little bit more discretionary in the sense that, like, does this answer a question for somebody? Does this enlighten my audience? Does this bring some kind of value? Because if it's me and my cheeseburger having a good Friday, that's cool, but that's probably not feed worthy.
Sometimes I post with my dog if it's a really cute picture and I get a lot of likes on it.
I think it's great. I think that's great. And you got to mix that in, right? Yeah, that's your part of your story.
The whole point. That's where I was going with that.
Personal meets professional. But if I'm using it as a business strategy, I at least want to give some consideration to what questions am I answering? What am I shining a big bright light on that my customer might give a shit about? That kind of stuff. Yeah. So, and then time block it, right? I mean, if it doesn't show up in your calendar, it doesn't happen. We're ever increasingly overcommitted in our schedules, in our lives, and it just keeps getting busier and busier. So you've got to create space on your calendar, or else it ain't going to happen.
Well, and I know, like, something that really has helped us is the scheduling tool. Like, being able to schedule out your posts. So it's not like something you have to do and remember, like, oh, Tuesday at 2 o'clock, I have to do a video. What am I going to do a video on?
Right.
Like, something that I know Ryan does when he's, like, on the weekend and it's Saturday or Sunday and he's chilling on the couch watching football or baseball, what's going on Sunday, he'll schedule out, like, 3 or 4 posts to go on our Serving San Diego page throughout the week. And so it's done. It's done. Forgot about it. And then we get, like, notifications and stuff and we're like, oh, a post happened. Oh, yeah, we posted something.
I've been on the beach and scheduling posts for Facebook to drop on Tuesday at 3 or whatever. That's like, there's 2 Ryans now, right? And then there's a CRM sending out emails and texts. And, like, so getting leverage in your business is huge. And it all starts with identifying where is the curiosity of my customer? What are they concerned about? Where are they spending time consuming it? And then getting there, being there, staying there.
Yeah.
And then your likelihood of being found goes way up, right?
Well, and I think just to end it on that, your likelihood of being found or your likelihood of gaining the trust and authority, that's like the biggest part of the content, the biggest part of being where your people are, is because that's what builds the trust. That's what builds the authority. That's when people are like, oh, I must use Ryan because this guy's everywhere.
Yeah.
So that's exactly where, we don't want to beat the dead horse on social media, but it's like, we have to be where our clients are. And whether it's on social media or being at the events that they're at, sponsoring the events that they're going to, we have to figure out how to be there. And it's like the frequency illusion of how to be there all the time.
Exactly.
And
so pay attention.
Yes. So
and
find
your
avatar and hit us up for the ideas. Like, hit us up if you're trying to craft who your avatar is or who your perfect client is. Or yes, we get it. We want all the clients. We'll take every deal, each client. But you want to work with people that you want to work with. So we can hit us up we'll sit down. We can craft your perfect avatar, craft who your prospect would be, and then we can come up with ways and outreach systems of how we can help get your videos, your attention to them.
Absolutely. So we are so stoked to be on your team. Until next time, we are
Haley
and Ryan. Bye.